Entire civilizations have vanished from Earth, not gradually, not in defeat. They simply disappeared, leaving behind only ruins and questions that archaeologists still cannot answer. We know about Rome. We study Egypt. But countless lost civilizations built empires so vast, so advanced, that their absence from recorded history is itself a mystery. 3 lost civilizations so complete in their disappearance that we still do not understand how millions of people simply ceased to exist. First, the Indus Valley Civilization. 3300 BCE to 1300 BCE, northwestern India and Pakistan. This is a lost civilization's case so profound that it challenges everything we understand about human development. At its peak, the Indus Valley Civilization was larger than Egypt and Mesopotamia combined. Cities housing 40,000 people. Advanced urban planning. Standardized weights and measures. Evidence of writing that's still undeciphered. This lost civilization's phenomenon represents one of humanity's most sophisticated early societies. And then, around 1300 BCE, something happened. The cities were abandoned, not destroyed, not conquered, simply left behind. Archaeologists found evidence of a mass evacuation, homes with doors left open, food still in storage vessels, personal belongings scattered as if people had fled suddenly, intending to return. They never did. The most chilling evidence comes from skeletal remains found in the streets, bodies with violent trauma marks. The violence increased toward the end, suggesting societal collapse into chaos. But here's what makes this lost civilization's case scientifically baffling. Climate evidence suggests prolonged drought. Flooding patterns changed. The Indus River, the civilization's lifeblood, shifted its course, making agriculture impossible. Archaeological evidence suggests 1,500 years of prosperity. And then, in what appears to be decades, a complete collapse. The people scattered, the culture fragmented. The writing system was lost forever. Today, we have no idea where the Indus people went, no historical record of their migration, no archaeological trace of their resettlement. This lost civilization's case represents 5 million people who vanished from history itself. The greatest urban civilization of its time simply evaporated from human consciousness. Next, the Nabataean Kingdom. Arabia, 100 BCE to 100 CEA, lost civilization so wealthy, so advanced that Roman emperors envied their prosperity. And then they vanished almost completely from the historical record. The Nabataeans controlled trade routes worth fortunes. They were master architects, engineers, and merchants. Their capital city, Petra, was carved directly into rock, a feat of engineering that rivals the pyramids in ambition. This lost civilization stretched from modern-day Saudi Arabia to Palestine. They commanded an empire of trade and commerce that made them wealthier than Rome itself. And yet, if you ask modern scholars about the Nabataeans, most cannot tell you their history. Because this lost civilization was deliberately erased. In 106 CE, Rome conquered Nabatea. Their cities were renamed with Roman names. Their language was replaced with Greek and Latin. Their history was rewritten by their conquerors. People who had once been proud Nabataeans became Roman subjects. Their glorious history became footnotes in Roman annals. The most disturbing aspect of this lost civilization's case, it was intentional cultural erasure, not conquest obliteration of identity. Today, Petra stands as a mysterious ruin. Tourists visit without understanding who built it or why. The Nabataeans are historical ghosts. their achievements attributed to others, their culture completely absorbed and forgotten. This lost civilization teaches us a darker truth. Sometimes the most complete disappearance isn't death. It's the erasure of your existence from the minds of the world. The Nabataeans didn't vanish. They were erased. And no one, not even their descendants, remembers who they truly were. Finally, the Cahokia mound builders. North America, 600 CE to 1400 CE. A lost civilization so magnificent that when European settlers first encountered its ruins, they refused to believe Native Americans had built it. Cahokia wasn't a small settlement. At its peak, it was larger than London. Its over 80 mounds earthen pyramids dominated the landscape. The city housed 10,000 to 20,000 people. There was evidence of organized government, trade networks spanning the continent, and sophisticated astronomical knowledge. This lost civilization was a North American metropolis that rivaled European cities of the same period. Yet it was completely erased from collective memory. Around 1300 to 1400 CE, Cahokia was abandoned. The people fled. The city was left to the elements. When European explorers arrived centuries later and encountered the massive mounds, they couldn't comprehend that Native Americans had created them. They invented alternative theories, mounds built by Vikings, by lost Welsh settlers, by anyone except the indigenous people. The truth of this lost civilization's case was suppressed, not by history itself, but by those who encountered it. European colonizers had a vested interest in portraying Native Americans as primitive, nomadic peoples. A sophisticated urban civilization didn't fit that narrative, so the ruins were ignored. The history was dismissed. The achievements were attributed to anyone but the actual builders. Archaeological evidence is now undeniable. Cahokia was built by Mississippian peoples. It was a center of indigenous North American civilization. It was evidence of sophisticated urban development hundreds of years before European contact. But here's the truly horrifying aspect of this lost civilization's case. We have no idea why it was abandoned. No archaeological explanation for the sudden exodus. No understanding of what caused the collapse of such a sophisticated society. The Mississippian people dispersed, their urban culture fragmented, their identity fractured into dozens of separate tribal nations. Today, the mounds still stand, a testament to a civilization that built something magnificent and then vanished. Not from plague or conquest, but from causes we still don't understand. And for 400 years, we refused to even acknowledge they had existed. Because acknowledging this lost civilization would have complicated the narrative of European superiority and indigenous primitivism. Cahokia stands as a monument not just to a lost civilization, but to our willingness to erase truths that contradict our preferred historical narratives. Lost civilizations represent more than archaeological mysteries. They represent the fragility of human achievement, the ease with which entire cultures can be forgotten, erased, rewritten. These lost civilizations cases remind us that the history we know is only a fraction of human history. Countless others have been lost to time, to conquest, to deliberate erasure. And somewhere in the archaeological record, there are surely more lost civilizations waiting to be discovered. Or perhaps waiting to be finally acknowledged after centuries of denial. Which lost civilization intrigues you most? What hidden history do you believe remains undiscovered? Share your thoughts in the comments below. We are the Narrative Bloom, where forgotten empires become eternal stories.